Hello, my dear student. Welcome to Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School channel. Myself Hina Patel, going to teach you 5th standard mathematics. Already we had completed 3 chapters. Today we are going to start with a 4th chapter, that is fractions. You know we are using fractions in a daily life. Yes, one by one we will see what is a fraction, where we use the fraction and how to write the fraction. So, just how we will see one by one. Fraction is what is a fraction? A number which represents a part of a whole is known as fraction. What is the definition of fraction? This is a definition of a fraction where a number which represents a part of a whole, means 1 cup of a milk which you represent as 1/2 means what? It is a half a cup of milk. Yes, then what is the numerator? We will see the top number which tells us how many parts we have. Where we write how many parts we are having, that we have to write in a numerator. Then what is an equivalent fractions? Equivalent fraction that represent the same part of a whole, which represent the same part of an whole. Then what is the denominator? Yes, we write a fractions in the form of a numerator and denominator. Denominator is a bottom number which tells us how many equal parts a whole has been divided into. Means what? When you want to write a denominator, that tells us how many equal parts a whole has been divided into. So, when we write a fraction, you know now what is the definition of a fraction, and fraction is denoted or is written in the form of a numerator at the top and the denominator at the bottom. Yes. So, this in the how first step by step we will learn the fractions, numerator, denominator and equivalent fractions.
Ooh. Hello, you bright young minds. How are you? Let me explain how to represent fractions, half, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, etc. by paper folding using rectangular strips of paper. Ooh. Take 3 strips of paper. Take pencil colors. Mark the strips as A, B and C. Fold the strip A from the middle so that the 2 parts overlap each other. Unfold the strip. Shade one part of the strip with the colored pencil. Since out of 2 parts we shaded only one, each part represents half or 1/2 of the whole strip. Let's record our observation in the observation table. Each part of the strip A represents half or 1/2 of the whole strip. Fold the strip B in 3 equal parts. Unfold the strip. Shade any one part with the colored pencil. Since only one part out of 3 has been shaded, hence the shaded portion is the 1/3 part of the whole. Let's record our observation in the observation table. Each part of the strip B represents 1/3 of the whole strip. Fold the strip C in 4 equal parts by folding the strip twice. Shade any one part with a colored pencil. Since we shaded one part out of 4, hence the shaded portion is the 1/4 part of the whole. Let's record our observation in the observation table. Each part of the strip C represents 1/4 of the whole strip. We'll meet again. Bye.
Okay, my dear student, we had seen some fractions. We had learned from the activity what we had seen in the video. So you can do this practically at home. Have a one strip, you can fold it and again divide it into 3 part or fold it into 3 part or 4 part, again open it and color the whatever the fractions you want and just note down the observation. So this is activity you can do at home and you can find out what are the fractions and how the fractions can be denoted and how it is written. So one by one we will see here the fractions, different ways to represent the fraction. Yes, the different ways of representing the fraction. You know now what is 9 upon 2 we say? It is 9 is in the numerator and 2 is in the denominator, or it is written here in the somewhat in the mixed fraction. It is 4 whole 1 upon 2. How to represent this fraction? Using a number line. Yes, just you should know 9 upon 2, it is in the form of fraction. You might be thinking that we don't find here fractions on a number line. No, we have fractions between 2 whole numbers. So just we will see one by one the representation of the fractions using a number line. Here we have a number line from 0 to 9, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, which is equally distance it is written. So in between the 0 and 1 we have a fraction as 1 upon 2. This is a, you can say 0.5 or you can say half, and this half, 2 half makes a 1. So between the 0 and 1 we have a half, here also half. Between 1 and 2 again we are having half, half. Again 2 and 3 we are having half and half. So on we are having. What we had done? We had written this improper fractions, we had converted into an mixed fraction, and we will find out where we can represent a 4 whole 1 upon 2. So now these are the natural numbers, you know, we are having on the number line as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and you know now already we had seen that between 3 and 4 we have divided 1 upon 2. 1 upon 2, that is a half, and this half makes a 1. So here also between the 4 and 5 we are having one part as a half and another part as a half, but already we had converted into mixed fraction. So we know that is a 4 and half. We can, after completion of a 4 and half, you have to write down that is nothing but we represent on a number line as an 4 whole 1 upon 2. So representing the fraction using a fraction model. So here it is given that we can add, this is your 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4 upon half. This is a fifth part, in that we are representing a half. So we can say this is 1 whole, 2 whole, 3 whole, 4 and half. So we represent on a number line as 4 whole 1 upon 2. So in this way we can represent a fraction. You can take your own fraction, just If it is a proper fraction, you can do it directly here. If it is improper fraction, you have to convert into the mixed fraction, and we have to find out where the fractions stand on the number line. Now we will see half of an even number. You know even number. Yes, in the very previous class we had learned what are the even number and odd number. So half of an even number, you know, if I say even number is a 2, what is a half of a 2? You will say 1. So how to find out? So even number, you write your even number, it should be divided by 2. I will give one more example. What are the even numbers? You know now, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, these are all even numbers. So if you want to find out the value of a 12, even number as a 12, what will be the half of a 12? So what you will do? You will write here 12 in the place of an even number and you will divide it by 2. So we can say that half of an even number is possible, You can do just have a reduction, you can do the division and we can find out. But now we will see half of an odd number. You know what are the odd number, but odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, these are odd number divided by 2. We can get, but we will get in a form of a decimals, but we are learning here a fraction. So we are unable to find out the odd half of an odd number as a odd number upon 2, we are unable to find out the fraction. Then what about we can say since odd numbers are not completely divisible by 2. Already we had learned in the previous lesson what are the divisibility rule. Yes, so just you have to recall and we can say that since odd numbers are not completely divisible by 2, so we are not getting here a fraction. So I think so this everyone understood. Half of an even number is possible. Yes, just have your own even number and divide it by 2, and half of an odd number is not possible because it's not an completely divisible by 2. What is then halves of an even and odd numbers? Now we have to see how to find out half of a 7. You know what is, where do the 7 lies? Just you have to imagine that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and to 10 the 7 lies after the 6. 7 lies after the 6. So what we have to do? In the previous we had seen the even number you have to write and which should be divided by 2. What is the even number before the 7? Even number before the 7 is a 6. We have to divide it by 2. It is possible. Yes. So we can reduce, or we can say you can divide it practically and we can find out as a 3. Because you know half of a 7 is not possible. We will not get as an fraction form. So what we have to do? We have to think before number and we have to find out an even number. So it is very easy. By finding an even number and divide it by 2, we get an whole number. Okay. So 3 you got here by reduction, 3 plus what is the half of a 1? 1 means it is half if you divide 1 into 2 parts. So this will be remaining. You had divided already this 6 into 2 parts, that is 3 you got. Now what is our number remained is 7. 7, that is one number we have to divide into 2. So it is half. So we can say that 3 plus 1 upon 2 is equal to 3 whole 1 upon 2. So we can read as a 3 and half, or we can say it is 3 whole 1 upon 2. So we are getting this in the mixed fraction. I told it that half of a 7, you can find out your own number. You can go for the half of a 9, you can go for the half of a 11, you can go for the half of a 13. Why I am saying all the odd numbers? In this way, this is the method. Just you have to recall the numbers in your mind and get a previous number which is an even number. Do the half of that even number and 1 is left. Do the half of that is nothing by 1 upon 2. You can add to the number and you can find out the half of a 7. Now you know that what is a half of 7 is 3 whole 1 upon 2. Can you say what is a half of a 9? Yes, you have to do the same procedure, and you have to do, if a half of a 9 means before number is 8, what is a half of 8 is 4. So it is what you will get here is 4 and half of a 9. So I told you, just take your own even numbers and find out how to do a half of a 7 and other odd numbers. Now we will see the numbers even or odd or half of a number. Already I told, just you have to practice your own number. So here we are having some even numbers as well as odd numbers. You know what is 11? 11 is an odd number. So here we had given two options, it's a even or it's odd. So it is an odd number. So what will be the half of a number? I told already that you have to think in a mind, get a before number of 11, that is 10, that is half of a 10 is 5, and just add a 1 upon 2, that is 5 whole 1 upon 2. You can say 5 1 upon 2 or 1 by 2. Again we will see the 17, which is again an odd number. What we will get before number of 17 is 16, it is even. You can divide it by 2, and whatever we get is 8, and what we have to add, that is 1 upon 2. So 8 whole 1 upon 2, or you can say 8 and half. Now we are having a 24. This is an even number. So we will write here even number. You know what is the half of an even number? Write the number, divide it by 2. So we will get as an 12. It's very easy to find out for the even number, because all the even numbers are divisible by 2. 38 is again even number. So we write here as an even number, and we will divide it by 2. So we get as a 19. 41 is odd number. Yes, you have to find out what will be the even number before 41 is 40. So half of a 40 is 20. So you write 20 and add 1 upon 2, that is 20 and half is a half of a 41. So I had explained you how to do the half of a number of an even number as well as half of a odd number, and already I told how to, we have to find out step by step. After having that practice, you can do orally and you can jot down on the tabular form. Now we will see how half of an quarter. We had seen of a half of an even number and odd numbers. Now how many halves are there in 6 and half? That is 6 whole 1 upon 2. How many half are there? Yes. How many quarters are there in 3 whole 3 upon 4? Yes. And how many halves are there in 10 whole 1 upon 2? So what we have to do here, we have to find out the half, which is how many half will be there. You know what, how many half of a 6 are having? Yes. 6 means, you know 6 is a whole, how many half will be there? 12 half, and this is 1, 13. So 13 half will be there, and how many quarters will be there? That also we have to find out. So we will see one by one. How many 1/4 are there in 8 whole 3 upon 4? So we will see one by one how to do it. How many halves are there in 6 whole 1 upon 2, or we can say 6 and half? Yes. So I told how many half will be the double of this, because we had seen on the number line, that is between the two numbers there are 2 halves. So what will be that? Total will be 12, and thus half we have to add. So how many half will be there? 13 half will be there. 13 half will be there in the 6 whole 1 upon 2. My question is how many half? Here how many quarters? Quarters, you know, is 1/4 part of a whole is known as quarter. Yes, yeah. So there are in 3 whole 3 upon 4, how many quarters are there? So here we are having a 3 4s are 12, and here 3 upon 4 means here is 3 quarters. 12 plus 3 is 15. So we are having a 15 quarters are there in 3 whole 3 upon 4. Again I will explain, don't get it confused, just you should know orally how to calculate. So, how many quarters are there in 3 whole 3 upon 4? Here we are having 3 as a whole. I told quarter means 1 upon 4. So, 1 upon 4 in the 3, suppose it's 3 pizza, how many 1 upon 4 pieces will be there? 12. So, 12 and this 3 upon 4 means 3 quarters. So, 12 plus 3 is 15. So, in this way we have to find out mentally and we can give the answer how many quarters and how many halves are there. Here we will see how many halves are there in a 10 whole 1 upon 2, or we can say 10 and half. So, there are 21. Again I think so you understood because it is very similar to the first question. So, we have to do the double of this, that is half will be double. So, 10 half will be 20 halves will be there and this 1, so it will be 21. Now, how many 1/4 are there in 8 whole 3 upon 4? Quarter and 1/4 are both are the same. So, both the terminologies we had used here. So, what you have to do? You have to multiply half 1/4 or quarter means how many? In one pizza we have 4 1/4, that is a quarter. So, we will multiply it by 4, 8 4s are 32 and 3 upon 4 means 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 3 times 32 plus 3 is 35. So, if you do the calculations, it is okay because you required more practice. After practicing, you can find out in your mind that how many halves will be there and how many quarters, or you can say as a 1/4 will be there in a given mixed fractions. You can write your own mixed fractions and you can find out.
Insights. We often come across fractions in our day-to-day life. Let's analyze the given situation. A group of students conducted surveys on favorite pets, and they found in the first survey that 12 out of 24 people likes dog as their favorite pet, and in the second survey 25 out of 40 people like cat as their favorite pet. Can you write equivalent fractions for the resulting fractions in both the surveys?
So, we had seen in that video clip that how they had taken the survey and they had written the fractions, and they want to find out what will be the equivalent if they had done the whatever the survey is done is similar by all or what, because they had given some examples in that video clip, that is they had taken the survey of a cat, dog nearby their houses and they had find out the survey of this. So, we can find out now equivalent fractions. How can we find an equivalent fraction? First we will learn what is an equivalent fractions and how to find out. There are two methods of finding an equivalent fractions, that is by multiplying the numerators and the denominators by the same number except 0, that you had learned in the previous class. Again I will repeat, by multiplying the numerator and the denominator with the same number. This is a one method how to find out the equivalent fraction, and another method is by dividing the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So, here we have to not consider the 0, it is so it is very specifically it is given as, we have to not consider as 0. So, again I will explain how to find out equivalent fractions by two methods. When you are having a large number, you have to divide it and you have to find out the equivalent fraction, and when you are having a lower number, you can multiply and you can find out the equivalent fraction one by one. We will see the method of how to find out an equivalent fractions. Find the equivalent fractions. What will be here? Yes, what is this? 1 upon 2, 1 is in the numerator and 2 is in the denominator. 1 is in the numerator, 2 is in the denominator. We have to find out the equivalent fraction of this. Here they had already given a 8 in a denominator. So, what we have to think? We have to multiply. Yes, first method we will use. We will multiply 2 by which number to get a 4? Yes, you are right. we will multiply it by 4. So 2 4s are 8. So what was that rule? When you are multiplying in the denominator, same number you have to multiply in the numerator. So which number you have multiply here to get 8? 4. So same number you have to multiply to the numerator, that is 1 multiplied by 4. So what you will write here? 1 multiplied by 4 means 4 1s are 4. So what fraction you will get? 4 upon 2. Here is given as 1 upon 2 and already it is given in the denominator as an 4. So which number you have to multiply to get 4? Yes, we will multiply 2 for the denominator to get 4. So same number you have to multiply in the numerator. So here 2 2s are 4, here 2 1s are 2. So what fraction we will get is 2 upon 4. One more example we will see. I think so all the children can give the answer for this. 1 upon 5. So which number we are multiplying to get 10? So 5 times 2 is 10. So here we will have a same 2 here. So 2 times 1 is 2. So here will be 2 upon 10 and 1 upon 4. Here it is given as 12. How many times 4 we have to take to get 12? Is 3 times 4 is 12, or you can say 3 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3. Which number we are taking as a 3? Same number we have to go for the numerator. So here we will go for 3. So 1 3s are 3. So 3 upon 12. So this is the one method we had find out an equivalent fraction by multiplying the given denominator, and we will find out what we will get in the numerator. What answer we had done, just we will check. Yes, we got the first answer was 4 upon 8, then 2 upon 4 and 2 upon 10, because already I had explained, just you can check your answer in your notebook too. So these are the equivalent fraction by multiplying the denominator with the same number in the numerator, and we had find out the answer for this by multiplication. Now we will see the equivalent fractions, how to find out. Here it is given as 1 upon 2 as written as 6 upon 12. Same fraction we are getting here 6 upon 12 by given as a 2 upon 4, we get as a 6 upon 12, 3 upon 6 which will again we get 6 upon 12. Here we are finding an equal sign, means it's all the fractions are equivalent. The word is equivalent. How to find out? Because in the previous slide only we had seen that how to find out the equivalent fractions by multiplying the numerator and the denominator. Here we will find out how to get a 12. In the denominator, which number you will multiply to get a 12? You will multiply here 6 to get a 12. Same number you have to multiply in the numerator. So you will multiply here 6. So it is 6 upon 12. So 1 upon 2 and 6 upon 12, what we got here, here we are getting as in 6 upon 12, here we are getting 6 upon 12, all are equal or all are equivalent. In short, we can say that 1 upon 2, 2 upon 4 and 3 upon 6 are an equivalent fraction. So we had learned today an equivalent fractions by one method, and we will see the next time how we will learn equivalent fractions by division method. So hope so my dear student, you have understood. Have a practice of this fraction, and we will see in the next class. Please practice the exercise sums. Thank you very much.